Martinez Carrasco. Please welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
You're welcome.
Delivering our first speech today is Nicole. Nicole is a futurist studies student at the University of Houston. She will be presenting a paper by J. Early, PhD, giving a layout for a preferred future. So she will walk us through in an organized manner, since this is her second speech, which is 5 to 7 minutes, and explain a world that we envision and take us through that transformation. Envisioning a wisdom society. Nicole.
As the human race, when we started on this earth, we started as beings in the spiritual world, being connected with nature, and we were living in tribes. But as we grew, we started to develop things like individuality. But that grew into individualism, which disconnected us from the world, disconnected us from the whole. But now in a wisdom society, what we're looking at is how to move back into the whole, but keep that individuality without losing it that we had, like we did when we were in tribal societies. We were part of the whole. We didn't have our individuality. But in the wisdom society, we moved back to that. And we use what we learned in developing our individuality. We use those things. We worked very hard to develop it. We've also not only taken ourselves away from the whole, also with our knowledge, the knowledge that we have of the universe, how things work. It's very broken up into small pieces. We take things into subject areas, chemistry, physics, philosophy, spirituality, all as separate things. But in a wisdom society, we put them all back together and we see the interconnectedness of them. We do this through a more holistic view. We worked so hard to understand things. Now it's time to gain wisdom from that knowledge. And there are some trends that the Earth has been going through the population to bring us there, to bring us to the wisdom society. If we'll end up there or not, we'll let to see. But it is a possible future that we are heading towards. The first trend I'm going to talk about is personal growth. And this has been going on for a long time. In olden days, it was only the elite class that could do things like personal growth. Like here, we're here in Toastmasters for personal growth. You didn't realize how much that was fomenting the society, I'm sure. But we're changing it by growing, by doing other things, by learning. And throughout time, as we got personal growth, we became greedy, we became powerful, we became wanting to outdo each other. And competition came in power. So, not that I'm saying we do that in this group, but as a society of whole, we try to dominate each other because we want to be the best. We want to be, even societies try to dominate other societies. Companies try to dominate other companies. Males dominated females throughout society. In a wisdom society, we get rid of that domination. We keep trying to strive to better ourselves, but we do it in a more cooperative way. We try to understand each other and how what we do affects the whole, how it affects other people, how it affects, so that we can raise the entire society up. The next is enhanced understanding. We have been gaining knowledge of everything through science, through psychology, through spiritual studies, everything. We have enhanced knowledge of how things work over time. We can forecast things, for small things, for individual things. We know how things work. And now we're starting to realize that the sums of the parts, the individual pieces, understanding them does not understand how the whole works. So we're starting to put that back together in a more holistic view. And we're using that information to build upon, to see the whole again. And we're doing this more cooperatively. And the last one I'm going to talk about is intelligence of organization. So again, we're using this intelligence that we gained. We're using all the knowledge we gained. We're using our individuality that we gained to organize things. Companies, if you've noticed, they're organizing themselves differently. They used to be, you came, you did a job, really wasn't focused too much on getting your individuality out. But companies are starting to realize that they use those individual strengths of the people and they help develop those that the company does better. They're listening to people. They're not only listening to their employees, they're starting trends where they're listening to their customers as well. And they're developing these better systems. Not all companies, but it's a trend going towards that, moving towards that. We also have, in manufacturing and stuff, we're using the resources better. We're not wasting as much. We're looking at the entire process. We're not just looking at what happens here and trying to maximize that, and then what happens here, maximizing that, what happens here, and maximizing that. Because we're realizing that when we maximize each little pieces, it often brings down the effectiveness of the entire. So we're looking at things more holistically again. So this is what a wisdom future is. It's using that knowledge to gain wisdom, to better enhance what we can do, so we can use things more properly. And the trend is showing that we are heading towards it. If we do end up there, if we don't, it's up to us as a human race.